So, in my next screencast, this is for week 5, I am just going to sort of focus on a couple things. One is I took my students out to the bleachers outside of our school and I worked on the bleacher activity. And it was interesting, and this was just for gravity. So, we're not even doing electricity yet. But this is good because this is going to be a good um, lead in, I guess, to the electricity once we get into the mapping the fields, potentials between charges or in a electric field. This will be great because we can use the gravity analogy very similarly, and they should have no problem switching over to the electric field and thinking about looking at equipotentials for electric fields, just like we did today for the gravitational field. One interesting question that my students had, they were sort of surprised, I guess, initially that the potential was the same for students if they were on the same level of bleacher, which was interesting because once we put it into uh, joules per kilogram, that sort of took away the effect of mass or differing mass, of the students, and so it made their values the same. And so that was sort of a great way to put a value onto the same sort of elevation. It doesn't matter, what the mass is. But one student did bring up an interesting point, and we were talking about how the gravitational field strength is newtons per kilogram, and 10 newtons per kilogram near the Earth's surface. And so that's a gravitational field. But then they were trying to get their heads around the idea that, joules per kilogram is going to depend on how high you are, whereas the newtons per kilogram is constant near the Earth across a certain, displacement above the Earth. And so I guess my thinking is that, the higher up you are from the surface of the Earth, the more energy per kilogram exists because more work needs to be done, which is a force, the same force of 10 newtons per kilogram will be exerted over a certain distance. And as that distance increases, the product of the two, force times distance, will increase as well, which the work is just the transfer of energy. And so I tried to explain that to him, and it was interesting. He definitely thought about it, and it's just a wonderful way, I guess, for the students to think about what causes the energy to change in a uniform electric field. And so the distance over which the force acts, can increase or decrease the energy. So that was, I don't know that point could have been addressed or even brought up by a student without going through this activity. So this is a new for me as far as eliciting more student thinking.